I swear, if Chelsea win the Club World Cup, I'm going to quit the podcast. This is Red Card Radio. Good morning, good evening, good afternoon, whenever you're listening from. Thanks for tuning in. Red Card Radio is a weekly look at the Premier League from two happy people and one I was fine until today person who support different clubs. My name is James. I support Arsenal. That's Brad. He supports Chelsea, the Conference League winning Chelsea. And down below is Sean. He supports Tottenham, the Europa League winning Tottenham Hotspur's first trophy in 17 years. Sixth trophy in his second year. Ange Postecoglou. Brad, no one cares about you. Sean, how are you feeling?
I was, you know what? You're being very courteous. I was going to hit you with the Champions of Europe. You'll never sing that, but you're being a little too nice, so I don't want to hit you with it. Maybe I'll wait to the beginning of the season.
It's funny because there's a post on Reddit right now that says it's like the Venn diagram of European winners, and obviously Chelsea are now in the only club in the middle that have won all three.
Middle?
Then you scroll down a little bit further, and there's a version of the retired European Cups, and Arsenal is on that chart in a two section, in between two different cups, because Arsenal have won European trophies. So I don't know what people are talking about.
But Brad, back me up on this. He won those when the ball was made out of volleyball, leather. They made it out of actual pigskin.
Bro,
it was filled with sand. It was filled with sand, and they played on
So it's like when Tottenham last won the league.
I don't know what these cups are like. They didn't have them before 2003. It doesn't count.
Yeah, exactly.
That's when football started, clearly.
So before we dig into the meat and potatoes of this podcast, if you could hit that subscribe button, ring the sub notification bell, drop a follow, comment, whatever your platform so allows if you're on the podcast site. Whatever you can do to follow it, that's super, super supportive. And if you hit the share button and put it on your social media, that's also super supportive, and we really appreciate that.
By the way, there's 80% of you out there watching this video right now that have not subscribed.
Whoa.
80% of our viewers are not subscribed. So please, please, please hit that button, ring the bell.
Wow, Brad's the analytics guy. I didn't know that.
Doing math out here.
Oof. All right. Well, okay, so the Premier League's over. 38 games have been played for all teams. Liverpool reigns supreme, top of the table. This would have been a perfect time for me to have prepared the Premier League table and put it into the podcast and flip to it so people on YouTube could see it right now. And as I'm sitting here looking at our recording software and the Premier League table right next to it on my screen, I realized that I didn't do that. So I'm not going to pull it up on the podcast. But Liverpool finished.
You could easily pull it up on your phone and do it as a read along. We will tie in some time.
I could no, I have it. I can see the table.
I'm talking to the listeners. Pull it up. It's a read along. It's a read along.
Yeah. And so Arsenal, Manchester City finished second and third, which was kind of expected. And then the spicy question of the weekend was who was finishing fourth and fifth. Who was getting into that spot? Was it going to be Newcastle? Was it going to be Chelsea? Would it be Villa? Would it be Nottingham Forest? The four remaining teams. And it is Chelsea and Newcastle finishing fourth and fifth, respectively. Villa and Forest just miss out.
So who won the game there, though? Out of those three clubs, which team won?
Okay, so yes. Chelsea are the only team that won this weekend. Obviously, Nottingham Forest could not win if Chelsea won because they were playing each other. Newcastle limp their way into the Champions League final, but I don't think, based on seeing Joel this weekend, seeing him watch the game, I don't get the impression that he cares.
Nope, he gave zeros to that one.
Well, you know how you could, take a little wind, a slight bit of wind out of his sail. It doesn't sound like it's going to take much wind. However, the success, really, the reason they're in the Champions League is on the backs of you and I, James. It's the success of your club in Europe and my club in Europe. They don't really count the Conference League into the coefficient.
They do.
But it's so small it doesn't really move the needle. It's really just Arsenal and Tottenham that
I
really
actually,
moved that
you know,
coefficient to
I
get the
wins
fifth spot.
one trophy and
And,
decides to run
you
his
know,
mouth.
you're gonna just a little something more prestigious. That's all.
hold on. I actually wonder if Aston Villa got England more coefficient for being in the quarterfinals of the Champions League than Tottenham did for being in the finals of the Europa League. Did they not? Do
I
you
don't
know
think
that?
so.
Do you know that
No,
definitively?
I'm pretty sure from winning it, you do. But it didn't matter. From before the quarterfinals, we were in.
Sure. Yeah,
Like
yeah.
after the group
When
stage,
when,
Oh,
we
yeah.
needed one win.
when Arsenal
You're
made it to the semifinals, that's when it confirmed it. I'm just curious.
because you're probably onto something that having Villa and Arsenal there probably meant more than
It's
if Villa would have been out before, and then also having Tottenham. I know it was already confirmed by them, but having Tottenham and
and
United in
United.
the
Yeah.
yes, that probably that probably like really confirmed it. But I know it was confirmed before that. But
Yeah, yeah.
anyways,
It would have confirmed it had it not previously been possibly.
yeah.
I don't know necessarily how the European coefficient works, but Brighton finished 8th. Is that Conference League, Brad, or Forest in the Conference League? Did you have you
Seventh is Conference League.
well, because Newcastle have Europa League
No,
and
Newcastle and Champions League.
I know, but they have Europa League through the cup. Crystal Palace have Europa League through the cup. That means, I guess, Forest. Yeah, I guess 7th is Conference League. Okay. Because Aston Villa are also in the Europa League. I think we get 3 teams in the Europa League and 1 in the Conference League. Is that how it works? Something like that? I don't know.
Yeah.
We got 6 in the Champions League because Tottenham finishing 17th also qualified. Interestingly enough, this is the 22-loss Tottenham. Record-setting Tottenham, finishing 13 points above the relegation zone. Leicester City, Ipswich Town, Southampton. It was fun while it lasted. 38 games is all you guys gave us this time. We'll see Leicester and Southampton in it either next year or the year after. I'm not sure when we'll see Ipswich Town again. Fun fact, I think Luton Town has been relegated to League One. So they were up for 1 year, and we're not going to experience the pound at Kenilworth Road for at least a while. Because I think coming up to the Premier League really hurt them, it seems like. And the other teams finished in the middle somewhere. It doesn't really matter that much.
Wait,
What, Brad?
hold on.
Holding?
1 through 5 made Champions League.
Correct.
FA Cup made Europa.
Yeah, but they finished 5th. Oh, sorry. They finished 12th.
Yep. If they have a FA Cup winner finishes top 5, then 6th place gets Europa League. So no. 7th would be Carabao Cup winner, but they finished in the top 5, right?
Yes, Newcastle.
So then that means 6th place would have gotten it.
Would have gotten
So
what?
Villa to the Conference League.
I don't think-
Villa to the Conference League, I think.
I don't think so. I think you're wrong. I think Villa are in Europa. I'm looking at the Premier League website right now, and the Premier League website says that Villa are in the Europa League. So I'm just going to defer to what the Premier League website's saying right now than what Brad
It
just
probably is
deeped.
more correct than me. ChatGPT has me messed up.
Yeah, we don't trust ChatGPT. You could just pull up a quick Wikipedia for the 2025-2026 iteration of the Conference League, and that would tell you which the English team is that qualifies, probably. So just broad strokes, I think everyone kind of expected Chelsea and Newcastle to be the second, the final 2 teams to be in the Champions League. A little bit surprising the way Newcastle went in, though, losing at home to Everton in the way that they did. It was very funny watching the game next to Joel because he just the entire time he was slagging off Murphy
my gosh.
for being so wasteful, and it was great fun to be in that like kind of watch along environment. But yeah, he was having a tough time dealing with how poorly Newcastle were playing.
Reminded me of the time when Newcastle weren't as good as they are. It used to be Joel every weekend. Flashbacks.
I don't don't actually think that there's too much to say. Sean, did you have anything that you picked up on this weekend that you wanted to touch on in any of the games?
The weekend games?
Yeah, like in the final round 38, anything interesting happen that you care about?
Hold on.
Okay,
Yeah.
holding again.
Sean did have a go at me. So like let's see, match week 38. Spurs versus Brighton. The Spurs fans started cheering and singing when Brighton put the fourth goal past them.
That's because they were also, along with the players,
amazing.
still drunk.
Yes.
Or hungover. One of the two.
Yeah, that's what I said in pre-production was the players. I didn't realize that the parade was going to be Friday. Those players were 100% hungover, if not still partaking. I didn't realize that they were going to be so close together, right?
Yeah, I mean, did you see that video of Brennan Johnson refusing to leave the stage so he could do trophy lifts?
Yes.
The dude was smashed.
Yeah, they're all having the time of their life. And I don't blame them.
Yeah.
There was a man on a I guess the traffic light pole. James Madison was befuddled by this. He was so inebriated. He was like, "How are you going to get down?" He's like on top of the bus. He's like, "Whoa."
Yeah, I think anything else about this weekend? Liverpool
champs.
Everton.
Arsenal limped to second.
Limped? What are you talking
Everton
about?
got a win.
They won. What do you mean limped?
Brad's just trolling. Brad is every Chelsea's fan. Whenever they have success, their first thought is Arsenal, and so they had a little bit.
True.
That's 100% true.
That wasn't my thought process. My thought process was, "Hey, look, we mashed our daddy Jose for 3 cups of 3."
All right, let's talk about these European finals. Let's start with the Europa League. This happened last weekend, or last week. Last week, yeah, it was last midweek. Yes. It was a week ago. It was a good game. Yep. It was a good game because it was like two maybe like remedial math kids finally succeeding a little bit. Like it's
in a math off.
Yeah, it's like the kids.
They're in a math off together, and you're just rooting for them to get a math equation correct.
Exactly,
right?
Exactly.
They're getting like 3 out of 5, but you're really happy for those 3.
Exactly, precisely. And so it was like two drunk people like trying to like put keys in the door to unlock your door to go. It was just two bad teams, two equally bad teams playing football against each other, and so therefore it made a good game. This was a levels game.
Well, that's a great way of putting it. But go ahead, Sean. This is your team.
It wasn't levels enough, baby, because one's higher than the other one. One's going to Champions League, one's not.
Yeah, what an like a tremendously like just like the outlook on everything that you just did for the last 9 months is radically different. Yeah. Based on 190 minutes of football. It's fantastic.
Yeah. It sure is. It sure is, because I couldn't imagine being on the flip side. I actually did not know this. I actually did not know this stat that we had only qualified for the Champions League as we know it 8 times in our history. This being the 8th. I didn't realize that it had been that few. Well, hang on. There was about a spell from about 15 to about 21 where we were in it almost every year.
Yeah, that was
maybe missed 1 or 2.
Those were your 6 years to get
and then Gareth Bale and Modric.
Those were your 7 years. Sorry, those were your 7 years, and then this is
and then Bale and Modric and legend Clint Dempsey. They made it a couple times.
I don't think Clint Dempsey ever played in the Champions League for Tottenham.
Maybe he did, maybe he didn't. I just threw him in there because it was around the same time.
I know I know for a fact he played in the Europa League against Juventus but that might have been with Fulham. I'm thinking about this because Juve were in the Europa League in like 08 or 09 after the Calciopoli scandal. Like they had made it back to Serie A after being relegated, and then they I think they finished like 6th the next season or something like that. And so the year after they were in the Europa League or something. And I remember, I think Clint Dempsey scored against Juve at Craven Cottage in the Europa League.
Wow.
So,
Yep.
well, my brother's a Juventus fan, and so we probably were watching the
yeah.
game together.
Hey, you know what? We can invite him to the Champions League chat too.
Yeah. Juve, they tried their damnedest not to get into the Champions League this year. They had an astronomical number of draws this year. But this is not a Serie A podcast because we would get bogged down with the fact that we'd have to praise Scott McTominay for winning Serie A.
Player of the year,
and having a blast,
MVP,
having a
whatever
blast
you
in
called it.
Naples. Having a blast in Naples. I don't know if y'all saw the video.
Finished
He's
league,
just living it up.
Finished.
And they about to fire Conte.
But no, finishing 17th. Where that point was going was that it's not unreasonable that we would have figured out what to do because we are with the money wise. Whereas the flip side of this, where United not winning absolutely is devastating to them. The flip side,
Huge.
if we would have lost, we would have been okay financially. But we didn't.
Yeah.
So screw them.
It's actually like that's probably the most interesting takeaway from this is that Manchester United were already in such dire financial straits before the final that getting into the Champions League would have arrested that like panic slightly, right? For Tottenham, it doesn't matter. You guys have a brand new stadium. You sell it out. You'll just call Shakira to do another concert or Beyonce to do another concert. It would have been fine, right? It wouldn't have made up for missing out on the Champions League, but it would have been
financial
fine.
fair play. In financial fair play, we have done a little bit of spending recently, but we've got the 3-year aggregate. We're good. We could just go on like a. Yeah, we would have been fine.
But you also don't owe the amount that Manchester United owe.
United. Well, I don't understand.
I saw
how
something
they have
that was
debt.
I saw something that this was an $80 million loss, not including what they would have made by making the Champions League, because it was something about sponsorship deals dropping, and like X, Y, and Z about why they're getting $80 million less, in addition to missing Champions League money.
Yep.
Yeah, it's
which is crazy.
Yeah,
this is not looking pretty for United, but like,
I think
at least they got over 40 points this year.
I mean, they deserve it, right? Like this. That's the beautiful thing about football is that it's still. There's jeopardy for everyone. Manchester United are arguably one of the biggest brands in English football, and this could have dire consequences to their business for years to come. And like we were joking on Everton for the last 2 or 3 years being in a relegation scrap. But like, who's to say that Manchester United won't be in the same position next year that they're in this year? Like,
but worse because they have to sell.
Yeah, but sure, they won't have European conflicts, so that they'll have less games, and so that will be helpful to them. But at the same time, like, I don't see how they're going to appreciably improve their squad with their money issues.
Cunha is here we go, but I don't know how that improves their squad.
But Cunha isn't here we go because United keep balking at trying to pay the release clause. United are trying to convince Wolves to let them pay over 5 years, and Wolves said, no, you have to pay what the release clause says. And then they said, okay, well, how about 4 years? And then Wolves said, no, you have to pay what the release clause says. And that's the last update we have. I think everyone's expecting it to get done. But at the same time,
I think that they're hoping that Chelsea buys Sancho. They're hoping that somebody buys Rashford, and then they can buy.
But the thing about Rashford is he's being linked to Barcelona, and Barcelona have zero money.
Which is a loan. Yeah, it's like a loan with an option to buy.
Yeah, so this is we'll talk about Manchester United this summer for sure. They're definitely on the list of teams that we have to talk about this summer. So Sean, final just kind of thoughts about the Europa League final, and holistically, give me your season rating for Tottenham Hotspurs out of 10.
So
everything
great,
put phenomenal
goal by Brennan Johnson. I mean, couldn't have done it better if Luke Shaw wasn't right behind him. It didn't actually do it. Actually, we got a foot to it to slow it down, but then Luke Shaw really knocked it in. I'm surprised they didn't give that an own goal.
It was the generous, we'll give it to the kid kind of thing.
A very generous, we'll give it to the kid to have his moment. Because, yeah, they celebrated pretty hard only to realize Luke Shaw knocked it in off like his shoulder. Anyways, but out of 10, I mean, it's got to be something like a 7, right? It can't be a 10 because we played so poorly. But we want
Who cares?
It's got to be like a 7 or an 8. There has to be. It can't be perfect. Did you watch us? We had 22 losses.
I agree with
that. It cannot be a perfect rating.
I think you need to be higher than 7, though. I think
Sean,
like 8.5 or 9.
Sean, at the end of the season, did your team do this?
Yeah, we did.
For the first time in 17 years.
Yeah.
Then how is it not a 10 out of 10?
It can't be a...
To be fair, it was the second biggest trophy you could have won this year. Like, it wasn't the Premier League, which was the top. The Europa League was the next best option to win.
Yeah. All right,
10
8.5.
out of 10. I'm sorry. I'm
8.5.
I don't know. I think it's okay to say it's not a perfect season. I think I'm okay with saying it's not a perfect season, but it does need to be like higher than 7. I think 8.5, maybe 9 out of 10 is fair.
Listen, if I'm you, Sean, it's a 10 out of 10. It's not even a question.
Okay, so Brad, tell me about your cup final, and tell us about the UEFA Europa League Conference. Europa Conference League. What a stupid title.
UEFA Europa Conference League.
That's a stupid name. UEFA.
It's 100% a stupid
UEFA.
name.
Listen to me.
I don't understand
UEFA,
this.
Talk to me. Look me in the eyes. Change the name of the third competition. Call it the UEFA Cup. Do anything. The UEFA Europa Conference League is a stupid name.
You're not wrong. And this was an expected outcome, right? Like this conversation is completely yes, I am as excited as anybody that we won a European trophy, right? We completed the Thanos gauntlet of Europe.
I hate you so much. I hate you.
It is so much better because it's Thanos, right? And how much you hate Chelsea. I'm good at this. Anyways,
trolling me. You are, yes.
If we didn't win this, it'd be upsetting. But us winning it is an expectation, right? We've got top 4, which was the goal all along. I'm always gonna say Chelsea's gonna win the league, right? My prediction for next year, Chelsea's gonna win the league. Realistically, top 4 should have been the expectation, right?
Yeah.
And we won a trophy. We kept our coach the entire year.
That is an achievement for Chelsea.
That's a big one.
I'm going 10, and Reece James ended the season healthy. Played the third most games. This is the second most games he's played in the past 4 years.
Had a beautiful cross in the cup final. Almost led to a goal. If somebody could have gone onto it.
Cole Palmer with 2 gorgeous crosses.
Are you about to tell me you're going to rate Chelsea's season a 10 out of 10?
I'm gonna give it a 9.
Okay, so wait. Did your season end with a cup? I got my water bottle here.
It did. But ours, but again, it was an expectation, not a,
Yeah.
If Chelsea are in a final.
Well, the same could have been said. The same could have been said from the knockout stages on for Tottenham. When you looked at we had Frankfurt and a Swedish team that had never been there. The same could have been said for us.
But I think you have to look at the competition of the league holistically. And the Europa League had some big clubs in it. Brad had to go to Kazakhstan to play football matches this year. Or wherever the hell you guys went to. You guys went to Kazakhstan, didn't you?
Somewhere over there. I think
so. Yeah, you did.
Probably. Sounds right.
They did.
I don't know.
They
somewhere.
Did.
The Conference League is not a real tournament for a club of Chelsea's stature. Honestly, it's not any English team in the Conference League should win it. Any Spanish team in the Conference League ought to win it. Any German team. And this is because this is just the power of there's no hope for these other teams. There's no hope for the Kazakhstan team. There's just no hope.
Like the muscle that
How much money does Chelsea spend on their squad? They've got 97,000 players on their team, all on 42-year contracts. Like,
I mean,
Chelsea.
hold on.
Chelsea rocked up there and bullied that competition like they should have. Now,
So
it's different. Next season, Nottingham Forest, if Nottingham Forest are the team that are there, that will be more interesting. But Nottingham Forest, in like a raw power perspective, are still strong enough to win that competition from the outset.
Southampton's relegation money, right? How much prize money did they earn for being relegated?
Didn't they get like 120 million?
110.9
Okay.
million. Leicester was 119. Ipswich Town 113 million. Like, there are top 10 Spanish clubs not making that money. There's probably top 5 Spanish clubs not making that money.
I think that's around the amount of money Arsenal got for being in the Champions League. Like around 109. I think we got like 109 million or something like that. I think Liverpool got, I don't know, we had the most in England. I don't know. I think we had like 109 million. Yeah, like it's a tremendous amount of money for just being in the Premier League.
Is if Chelsea wins the Club World Cup and I get to lift my trophy again, that's how much we would make.
I'm telling you now, I'm not being on the podcast. If Chelsea win the Club World Cup, I'm not coming.
I'll be here with you, Brad. I'll be here with you.
I'm just not doing it.
We'll be celebrating together,
Yeah,
Sean.
we'll do it. We'll do it, Brad. You just make sure you bring 2 of those cups.
I'll get on it. Father's Day should happen before then. We'll see if we can't get another one. The amount of money in the Premier League, Nottingham Forest, 150 million pounds.
Yeah.
Just playing in their domestic league is stupid.
It's not stupid. It's good business.
Sorry, right. I'm saying it's stupid money.
Yeah.
It's earned.
For playing.
Earned.
Isn't it like?
I mean, it's a super strong business.
Isn't it like 2.5 billion per year? Close to it.
Divided between the teams, yeah.
Like there's 20 teams and everyone got over 100 million, so there's 2 billion there. I think there's another, like it's probably like 2.25 or something like that after all the. It's probably more than that. It's probably close to 2.5 if you add it all up. You don't have to add it all up, Brad, but I see you furiously typing. Or should
keep talking?
Okay, so I think the final thing we need to do for this season,
just round it up.
Is we got to talk about the sheets of the points. Google Sheets. How do I get to Google Sheets? There we go. We got to talk about the points.
Yeah.
So let me pull up the picks for round 34 or 38, whatever we're at. We're at round 38. Did anyone do the math? Did someone do the formula on this?
No, but I beat Sean by 2.
Okay. So Brad had a weekend where he finished with 6. Sean had 5 correct. So that's only 1, Brad. It's only 1.
Whatever. Oh, I beat you by 2. That's my fault. I beat you by 2. My fault.
So,
and
so you guys were tied beforehand. So okay,
you were close. 2.9 billion, sir.
It's 2.9 billion all in.
So we'll say 3 billion. We'll say 3 billion because these numbers are probably off somewhere.
Yeah, there's probably a little bit of there. All right, so all in all, Jimmy and Jack are the overall winners of the Red Card Radio picks, having picked all 38 rounds. They got, how many did they get right this week? They
finished on 185.
They got 185 out of 380 picks. That's greater than 50%, right? No, it's not quite. Yeah, it is. 360. No, it's not quite. It's not quite, but it's very close. Very close. Good for them. I don't know what we're gonna do for Jimmy and Jack. We'll have to celebrate them somehow. We'll have to send them something. And Brad came in second. Brad's very, very. It's very important for him for me to say that he finished second.
Second year in a row, beating you two. Just pointing that out. Just putting it out there.
Is this second year in a row? Is this the second year in a row you finished second?
No, I'm not Arsenal. I finished first last year.
Okay. All right. what we'll do with this spreadsheet, we'll get it all cleaned up and we'll publish it on our Discord. We'll put it online so you guys can make sure we didn't screw anything up. I'm sure there are people who are more adroit at using Excel than I am, and they can sleuth and discern if I did it correctly. But we'll get this cleaned up. We'll put it online, and let everyone take a look at it, see how you guys did. And so congratulations, Jimmy and Jack. I think, like Liverpool, deserved winners this year.
Yeah.
So, you guys have anything else for tonight?
That's it.
One last. Sean. And cheers.
The double cup. All right, you guys are ridiculous. We're getting out of here. My name's James. That guy's Brad. He's at KSBradG on X. Down below is at Whiteheart_Sean. I am at James Tiffany. Collectively, we are at Redcard_Radio. We will be back next week. I think we're gonna do like awards type thing, player of the season. Just we're gonna talk about the Premier League kind of holistically. So we'll be back next week. Kind of, I think, put a bow on the whole season before we kind of get into our summer routine. But probably from here on out, it's probably gonna be one episode per week until the season kicks off. Would be my guess in August.
August 16th.
Yeah, I should set myself an alarm. That's only 2.5 months away. So we're close.
We are.
Maybe we'll throw some F1 talk in, like Sean mentioned last week. Summer's here, so I can tell you guys all about the baby goat. But we'll be back next week. And until then, I hope you guys have a good one. Enjoy the Champions League final. It's this weekend. Inter and the other team. PSG, thank you. The team that beat us. Inter and PSG. Those are the teams. Check it out this weekend. We'll be back next week, and maybe we'll talk about that. Who knows? Until then, have a good one. We will see you all soon.